Hello, Wisecrack Nation. This is your boy Navi here with a special review for you today in the form of The Flash, the Elseworlds crossover part 1. I stepped out of the Speed Force early and I'm coming at you with this special review. So let's see what The Flash brings to us on this day. We started this episode with the destruction of Earth 90. Now I know what you're asking, Wisecrack Nation. Isn't there only 53 Earths? Well, nope. We've come to find out now there's 90, as we see an older version of Barry Allen running away from an unidentified alien-looking figure, indicating that the Flash wasn't strong enough to stop him. At which in the next point, we arrive in Gotham City of all places, where Arkham Asylum Dr. John Deegan is holding a meeting about changing eugenic enzymes in the population of people and helping them become super or more than better than what they are now. Fortunately, everybody sees him for the quack that he is and walks out of his speech that he's giving. Now, what I don't understand is why the mysterious figure from Earth 90 is meeting up with the good doctor, telling him that he's special and that he should rewrite history. I wonder where we're gonna go from here with this episode. Now we have an even bigger issue that's raised because we see Oliver, or Barry, as they put it, has waken up to see that he's not in his original bed, but the bed of Barry or Oliver, as however you want to put it. I swear to God, this episode is going to give me an aneurysm, but we're going to call them who they are. Barry's Oliver, Oliver's Barry, so we're going to stick to that. We can see that Oliver's highly confused as he wakes up in the bed of Barry and winds up having breakfast with Iris, which is really messed up because I swear I put in my boyfriend application for Iris months ago, but yet Oliver's the one who gets to wind up with her. That's not right. And now, unfortunately, Oliver realizes that he's in Barry's body. He's gonna have to do Barry's daily life ritual as well. That means becoming the Flash, catching bad guys, and working with Team Flash inside Central City. I feel to say that this episode merits a lot of laughs as we see Oliver get into the Flash suit looking like a buff turtle and then delivering lines from his show telling the villains that's robbing a lab that they failed this city. Oh man, this is gonna be comedy gold. But unfortunately, before stopping the robbers, Oliver doesn't realize he's released or powered up Ivo's robot, which is pretty much going to be a game changer for this episode. This episode has been pretty epic so far. Now we see Team Flash giving Oliver a look over, and he's feeling out of place because not only are they still referring to him as Barry, but Cisco gives him a hug before he leaves the medical room. So before leaving Star Labs, he informs the team that he's gonna go see Oliver Queen, aka Barry, in Star City. At that point, we see Barry training with Diggle, and now coming to the realization that he's Oliver Queen. This episode is going wonderfully as we see Barry trying to figure out how he's Oliver, at which point Dig asks Barry for his help in taking down a group of thugs that's doing a robbery. After dealing with the thugs, Oliver comes out of nowhere and sweeps up both Barry and Diggle with his super speed, at which point, once again, like they do every season, Diggle winds up vomiting in the nearest garbage can. At one point, Barry finds this cool and fun, but Oliver is really, really confused still and trying to figure out why this is happening and trying to get Barry to take it more seriously, to the point he tells Barry that he wishes that they can go back because he wants to wake up in bed in his own reality with his own wife. That should get Barry to take it more seriously. Now they're both back at Star Labs and have to convince Team Flash that they're telling the truth, that they are each other. And for some reason, Team Flash isn't so trustworthy or believing, even though that they've known each other for years and choose to think that each other is crazy. And what's more disturbing, Team Flash knocks out both Barry and Oliver and puts them in the metahuman holding cell in Star Labs. Well, it seems that since both Barry and Oliver are trapped inside of a metahuman holding cell, they decided to make their way to Earth-38 and visit Kara in order to get her help, because everyone on Earth-1 thinks that Barry and Oliver are each other. So they decided to enlist Kara's help in order to convince them that they're not. And while in another part of the lab, Caitlin and Cisco are going over reasons why Barry and Oliver would think they're each other due to the weather anomalies of a red sky and yellow lightning. At which point Cisco starts vibing off of something he touches and sees the same mystery man earlier that gave the good doctor the book to rewrite reality. And what makes things even more outrageous is that Barry and Oliver have decided to come up with a solution in order to get themselves out of the power dampening cell by backing up the pipes and phasing through the cell door in order to get out. After breaking out of the cell, they have the luck of running into Iris, in which Barry reminds Iris of their past and tells her something that only she would know to recognize from Barry, in which she believed him and gave him an extrapolator that would send him to another Earth to go see Kara. But what's really cool about this scene when they go see Kara is the fact that they're introducing the old Smallville theme into this episode before they enter the Kent farm. On Earth-38, we see Lois and Clark arguing over how Clark should take her to his home planet where the city of Argo is. And of course, Kara doesn't want to get involved because she knows getting in an argument with Lois Lane is pointless and futile and that she's gonna go anyway. Lois decides to go fix something in the barn while Kara and Clark play catch up and talk to each other of events that are happening over in Supergirl's city. And luckily, when Barry and Oliver get to Kara's Earth, they both recognize by Kara to be both Barry and Oliver who they should be. But even though they're recognized, they still have each other's abilities, but still look the same. While back on Earth-1, Professor Ivo's robot is running amok on Central City and taking down both Elongated Man and Killer Frost. Well, it seems that it's time to train on the Kent farm, as Oliver's training Barry on how to be the Green Arrow correctly. And Barry tells Oliver to run at him at high speed and stop a bow from hitting him. Oliver questions Barry where he hid the bows at, because as we know, 4 years ago, Oliver did the same thing to Barry. Even though Barry said he wouldn't do it, he knew he was going to do it. In which it was still funny when we see Oliver Queen get shot in the back with 2 arrows, knowing that he shouldn't have done it to Barry all those years ago. It seems that things are getting hostile as Barry and Oliver start to argue over how Barry is using Oliver's skills and techniques just to get a laugh out of him. But Oliver hits him hard at home and makes him want to stop training because it seems that he's more upset about something than being shot in the back, but another reason. And now on top of that, Team Flash are going over the blueprints for the robot they fought earlier at the laboratory to come to find out why it copied their abilities, because not only does it have Mirakuru coursing through its serum, it is also a hybrid. And now it's at this time that Sherlock has informed the team, well, not informed the team, but he told them that unfortunately Flash and Green Arrow can't fight Amazo's robot because Iris has let them out. It now seems that all the anomalies that are happening in Central City and the vibe that Cisco received earlier are all interconnected. And now to come make things worse, Amazo is attacking the city. Well, back on the Kent farm, Barry and Oliver have a deep conversation about why they've been acting the way that they're acting. It seems that in order to fully use the abilities that each other has, they have to change up their emotions and style that they use. Meaning Barry has to be like Oliver and Oliver has to be like Barry. And it seems that everything is coming together as Cisco arrives on Earth 38 to retrieve both Barry and Oliver to help on the situation back on Earth 1. And not only are they coming back, but they're coming back with the help and form of Supergirl and Superman. Now it is time for the ultimate showdown as we return to Central City and see Ivo's robot going on a rampage, in which point Cisco returns to Star Labs and alerts the team that he's brought big guns as backup in the form of the Flash, Arrow, Supergirl, and Superman. At one point they have Amazo on the ropes, but he comes back and copies all their abilities, unfortunately, in order to make him super powerful. And as Kara told Barry and Oliver back on her Earth to play their parts as each other, they're doing it well here back on Earth 1 as we see Oliver speeding through the city, distracting the robot, while Flash, or should I say Barry, heading to the top of a building, ready and waiting for the robot to return to the scene in order for a way to stop him. And one of the funniest things about this crossover that you can never get over is that Sherlock is going to make some witty comment about him being smart and right all the time. And when Cisco states he hates when he's right, as Sherlock said, he's always right. And now in order for them to stop the Great Amazo, they're going to have to use Superman and Supergirl's weakness of kryptonite in order to infuse him with a virus in order to cut him off. At which point, Amazo comes back to the scene to be held down by both Superman and Supergirl and held at the neck by Oliver, while Oliver, or should I say Barry, recites the greatest line in the history of Arrow: "You have failed this city." It seems that Barry and Oliver play each other too well, as you can see Oliver acting like a goofball and Barry acting so serious it looks like he has a stick up his butt. As we return to Star Lab, Cisco informs the entire team that inside the lab, every piece of Amazo is locked up in the vault, except for one piece that Cisco decides to keep. But another issue, on the other hand, is Barry is still Oliver, and Oliver is still Barry, in which the team is thinking maybe it's not a bad idea to leave them the way they are for now. On the other hand, Iris, Barry, and Alan are not so okay with that, to the point where they need to and want to figure out who did this to them and why. And as Clark gets ready to go back to Metropolis, Sherlock, on the other hand, has a question to ask Clark in the form of, once he gets back to Earth 38, giving his third ex-wife an alimony check that he's behind on. And of course, Clark agrees, and after agreeing, Sherlock asks, he states he's super, and says, man, can you trust him? I mean, come on now. Saying super, then man, that's just a little overrated. At which point, Barry and Iris have a serious conversation about the fact that even though Barry is Oliver, she doesn't want him to become entirely like Oliver in personality-wise, because she doesn't want to lose what she has in Barry. In which afterwards, Cisco calls Barry and Oliver and Kara together and lets them know of who he saw. And not only does he tell them, he shows them by vibing to the exact same time and point at which he saw the mysterious figure, in which the mysterious figure let them know that he didn't know that men of Earth 1 had that capacity. And letting them know that anything they try will not be able to stop what's set in motion. At which point, Oliver constructs what he saw and informs them he knows where they're going. They're going to Gotham City. It's time for the Dark Knight to come out of the shadows. Well, Wisecrack Nation, for right now, your boy's gonna go back into the Speed Force and come out somewhere else in Elseworlds. Hopefully I can give you more information later on, because I will be back with part 2. But for right now, be wise, crack hard, and remember to like, comment, share, and subscribe for more.